welcome to Work the Left Side. Yes, we normally talk wrestling. Yes, you can see wrestlers, but we are here to talk comics today. Gentlemen, thank you firstly for joining me on just this episode. I've just purely done thanks to Mr. Barker after our conversation previously. Yes. How are we all doing?
Good.
All good, man.
Yeah, I'm good, bro.
Sweet. Obviously, yeah, as mentioned before, I also had the pleasure of speaking to Joe before. I had the pleasure of speaking to Mr. Barker before. And it was after our conversation, we got talking about comic books, and then we got talking about comic books after the chat. And it was just like, look, yeah, it would be cool to do an episode just talking comics. So if you're watching this expecting wrestling conversation, that's not what this episode is. It is purely an appreciation for the fine arts of comic books. So yeah, I don't know whether to be generic with this and just ask you all, how did you start reading comics, or what's your first memories? That kind of seems really lame, so I'm not going to bother with that. I'm just going to ask you, what is it? What's the appeal? Each and to all of you, what's the appeal? Why comic books? What's cool?
I mean, right off the bat, I guess the art itself is very appealing. Just reading in general, I guess, it's nice to shut off and have that escape, I guess. And for myself, I don't know, there's nothing cooler to read than comics, right?
It appears nowadays, yeah. I'm a slightly bit older than you guys, so I paid my dues back in the day.
No, for sure. You used to get bullied for it, right?
Yeah.
You did used to get bullied for it at school. It's weird how things come full circle. And you see the same kids who bullied you at school, posting about how good the new Avengers was and whatnot. It very similar to wrestling. You know what I mean? It comes full circle, doesn't it?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, you understand the pain, but yeah, you get people now who are comic book fans because they've seen all the MCU films, which is cool. But you're not a comic book fan because you've seen the MCU films.
I just want to put out there, I don't think I've seen a single MCU film.
Damn.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen the Spider-Man films, but I've not watched any of the Avengers films.
There's a reason I'm asking, because obviously, I mean, a comic book is just I would just be interested to see how they betrayed them, kind of thing. Knowing the source material, I'd be intrigued to see what bits they pulled from it, what they left, what they changed. Have you just no, not having it?
I think a lot of it, in a film adaptation or something, that they leave out a lot of the main plot points of sort of the actual comic book stories and stuff. And I think it kind of annoys me. If I know something about some of the characters, I'm well, why are they not involved in this? And then just to avoid disappointment, I just don't watch it.
Yeah.
Sure.
I can sort of watch. This goes back to that. I'm just thinking then when Ellis said it, I don't really think I've seen an MCU film really, besides Guardians of the Galaxy. I think that's the only one I've seen. I think I only saw that because I'm not familiar with the comics or the source material or nothing, so I can go into it knowing that this isn't going to annoy me. And you can kick back. Oh, I guess Deadpool. I've seen Deadpool. Does that count?
Is that part of that?
He's the Jesus of the MCU, so it does now.
Okay, right, sweet. X-Men, are you throwing that in there?
Yeah. Just any comic film in general, really, I suppose.
Okay, well, I've seen the old X-Men films.
Yeah,
I've seen all the Spider-Mans and stuff, but I haven't watched any of the Avengers stuff or the Iron Man films.
I just referenced the MCU because that seems to be when it suddenly became cool, kind of thing. They were the ones that people reference a lot.
So, being the youngest here, I'm probably on the other spectrum of. I watched all the films first before I read comics,
Oh,
and
God.
so I liked the characters so much. I was like, what other media can I consume of, say,
Yeah,
like Spider-Man?
Okay, yeah.
And then I started reading into the comics and playing the video games and stuff, and I was like, damn, he's so much cooler than the films even make him out to be, you know what I mean? And then, you get, obviously you can't squeeze fucking 5 million comics into a couple hour long films, so I think they do their best to adapt. But yeah, there's a lot of missing for sure. And I can definitely understand the frustration of watching it with someone and you're like, especially me, the Tom Holland Spider-Man, I was like, bro, if you knew in the comics the Avengers are begging him to join because he's so cool, and he's like, nah, man. But in this, so I get frustrated at that aspect of it, I guess.
Yeah, like I think going from what Joe said there, like him watching the films first, I think like because I think it was probably the Batman the Animated Series.
Yes.
I watched it first.
That's
Yeah.
a good shout.
And then I was like, oh, how do I watch more? Or how do I find out more?
And the Spider-Man on Fox Kids, you watched that one?
Yeah.
And the X-Men series and everything, yeah.
Quick shout out. If you've seen it, I saw the trailer the other day. X-Men 97 is dropping on Disney Plus next month.
Ooh.
So they're kind of relaunching the 90s X-Men cartoon. Obviously,
Oh, sweet.
but they've kept the animation by the looks of it.
All the animated Batmans just came out on Netflix too. Yeah.
Nice.
So I've been making my way through them. Yeah, reliving my childhood.
It's still, hands down, it's still one of the best forms of anything comic book related that's not on a comic book page. Films, anything like that. Animated, 90s animated man is still like the godfather for anything.
For sure. Closest thing to just not reading the comics if you want, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing.
Just put it on, and you can just lose yourself for hours. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's so bingeable, isn't it? Because they're only like 20-minute episodes, so you see them off in no time. You haven't time to get bored before you're on the next episode.
Yeah.
And you're going down a completely different arc, and then before you know it, shit, I've been on this for 2 hours now. Yeah.
I'm always curious. Obviously, I know there's not hundreds, but there's loads and loads of different comic book companies out there. Obviously, you got your main two. You got your Marvel, you got your DC. I like both. I'm open to both. I'm not like a loyalist to one or the other. But do you guys waver more towards one to the other? Have you got any characters that sort of make you go Marvel more than DC or vice versa?
So, movies wise, I'm more drawn to DC films because they're darker and grittier. But I think comic book wise and like character wise, I'm probably more drawn to Marvel. Like, if I had to pick three, it'd be Deadpool, Punisher, and Batman. And that's why I'm like, I'm probably more pulled to Marvel than DC because two of them are Marvel.
So I would say I predominantly read Batman, to be honest with you. 80% of what I read is probably Batman. But that's and like you said there, you're not like adverse. You don't pick sides or whatever, but really there's very little appeal to me for anything that Marvel really brings out. I know that's probably a hot take, but like it just doesn't appeal to me. But if they do bring something out, I'll jump on it. I like besides DC and Batman stuff, which like I say is 80% of what I read, to be honest. Like I have all the Hellboys stuff, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. IDW are doing real good stuff with Ninja Turtles. That's not to be slept on. It's real good. It's real good. But predominantly for myself, it's Batman.
Yeah. I think if you ask me on a different day, I flip between whether my favourite's Batman or Spider-Man. But I think Spider-Man will take it today. So, but I agree that the DC comics are. It's the same with the films. I think like they just seem to tackle more adult themes as opposed. It's like that in Marvel films that they're going to win, but in DC they might not. There's just a lot more tension there, I think.
All you got to do is forget your mum. Just mention, the mum's name. That's it. Fight over.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that film.
I went back and I watched that not so long ago, and I was a lot less mad at it when I went back and watched it for the second time. I don't know why. I was like, oh, this isn't. Why was I so mad about this? It's for what it is. It's just aight.
Yeah.
I try not to get mad about things anymore.
The longer cut's better than the shorter cut, if that makes sense. You'd think the longer cut would be worse because it's longer, but it actually flows better. Same with
I can't remember which one I saw, to be fair. They're both pretty long.
But
Like 3 hours you're touching too much.
well, you watched the Snyder cut of Justice League, about 4 hours.
Yeah, something like that. It's ridiculous.
So I don't think that's no.
I started watching it and I was like, oh, it's 2 discs. One of them's definitely going to be like
Extras and stuff
or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I started watching it. I got like 2 hours in, and then it was like change disc, and I was like, what? No, I'm not splitting it up. I'm going to watch the whole thing.
Yeah, I can't be asked now. Yeah.
4 in the morning. I want to go to sleep.
I mean, well, this might be an entirely hot take, but I've never liked Superman. My dad would be mad at me for that, but I just find him way too boring. Like, he wins all the time. He's so indestructible.
Yeah.
That's not a hot take. I feel like everyone sort of has that point of view. Yeah.
Yeah, never dug Superman. I like the Christopher Reeves films for nostalgia value. But as a character, like you sort of said, man, the dude was just, his arch enemy was just a bold businessman. It was just like, it didn't interest me. So, but obviously, like you said, you got your Spider-Mans, you got your Batmans. I second what you say about the Turtles thing. I think anytime, current Turtles run is awesome. Got some of the original runs, and Turtles will always be great. I think that's a comic book people need to look at. If you're looking outside of Marvel and DC, you're looking at like Turtles, or you're looking at like Sin City, Hellboy, things like that.
I'd throw in Kick-Ass. I was a huge Kick-Ass fan, reading the Kick-Ass comics, and Scott Pilgrim as well. I personally think that like Scott Pilgrim is like the finest trilogy, because you've got a great video game, great comic, great movie. One always fucks up somewhere. Either it's a bad video game or it's a bad movie. But yeah, Kick-Ass and...
Have you seen the Scott Pilgrim thing they did on Netflix recently? They just did like a 6-episode.
I saw the trailer for it. I never got around to watching it. Is it decent?
Yeah, mate, it's awesome. I really enjoyed it.
Is it not just like a animated adaptation of the film though? From what I saw, that's what it looked like.
It ties in certain bits, but
it's the same voice cast, right?
Yes, same voice cast. But something happens at the end of the first episode that totally flips the film on its head, and it goes down a different route.
Oh.
So the first episode
I'll watch it.
The film, and then it totally flips.
Sure.
There you go. That's my contribution to you 3 today. Scott Pilgrim. Hopefully you like it, and hopefully you don't get mad at me for recommending something that made you angry. So, but yeah, comic books. Obviously, the reason this come up was wrestling comic books. To me, there's such a huge crossover appeal. You got your good guys, your bad guys, larger than life characters, and it appears, also the bad guys that are just so cool, they eventually become good guys.
Yeah, your NWOs.
Yeah. With all your Venoms, that's the comic book equivalent.
Yeah,
for sure.
So top anti-heroes then. Who's everybody knows the favourite good guys. You've mentioned Punisher, Spider-Man, Batman. Shout out to the baddies. You know, who's got the best rogues gallery? Who's the best bad guy?
The best rogues gallery, that's got to be Batman.
Yeah.
And for myself, like, I feel like there's not even. I guess it's funny. I don't even read the Spider-Mans, but without even reading them, I'd say that's the only one that comes close, just in terms of like the vastness and like.
They're the top two for sure.
Okay, right. So even though I don't read them, like, you can't avoid seeing them. You know, when you're in the shops, when you wherever, and those two especially, like, it's a stacked roster.
Sure.
But if to pick what, like, my favorite Batman villain, like, I would have to say Penguin, right? And just because he's a small dude like me, right? Me and Penguin, small little dudes, but he still poses a real threat. Penguin's cool. Ichiban. Ichiban. Depending on the core Penguin is cool. There's been some adaptations that I don't really affiliate with as much, but like the idea of his character, that resonates with me, especially being a small dude.
He's just a feisty little guy who, if you get in his face,
Little guy.
Yeah, he's a feisty little guy who's going to bite you on the nose and just fuck you up, basically.
Yeah, man. Depending on the adaptation, you're feisty, just a suave dude. Penguin's the man. To answer your question, that would be my number one.
Nice. Joe, who you shouting out as your favourite buddy?
DC, I don't really know if you can class him as a villain as such, but I've always fucking loved Red Hood. You just get Batman, but he kills people. Like, that's so sick. And Deathstroke. I always liked guys that could go hand to hand with Batman as opposed to like a Joker or a Scarecrow or something. And my favorite Spider-Man villain has got to be Carnage, man. He's the best.
It has to do. Yeah. Ellis, are you shouting?
I think I have to go. Top villains are probably. I think Juggernaut's a good one. Rhino.
Yeah.
And I can't not count Joker in there. Like, he's just
for sure. I didn't know we were doing top threes, but if we were doing
yeah,
Joker's got to pop up.
Yeah.
No,
but like, there's nothing better, like, story wise, than like a big dude that has to be beaten. I think like Juggernaut and Rhino are similar. They have similar strengths and weaknesses.
It's just the big guy versus little guy thing, innit? David versus Goliath. But Deathstroke's an awesome shout. Love Deathstroke. I think he's just great. You know, whenever that character pops up, be it in, you know, Teen Titans, be it Arrow, you know, any time Deathstroke turns up, you know, you're in for a good ride. It's just going to be swords, guns, and kicking ass.
For sure. And then if we're going outside of Marvel and DC back to Turtles, I think Shredder is one of the coolest villains of all time, man.
Big sexy.
There he is.
If Turtles wise, again, this is like, obviously for all your different runs and stuff, you have different adaptations and takes on the same villain. But to go back to the like ongoing IDW stuff, the Rat King. I don't know if any of you are reading it. The way that they portray Rat King in like the newer ones is really cool. It's like very Scarecrow-esque, and it's not like comical how it was in like the original like way back cartoons and stuff. I'm enjoying Rat King stuff the most in the IDW run, but Bebop and Rocksteady too.
Yeah, I think like henchmen get like a poor rap. Like Bebop and Rocksteady were like classic like henchmen, like bad guy.
Yeah, sure. they probably even would level above Henchman overall if you thought, as opposed to like just Foot Soldier,
Yeah.
They're their own characters.
And the comedy aspect of them too as well, innit?
Yeah.
Just so many cool little nods in like all aspects of Ninja Turtle stuff, like nods to culture, like outside of comics, like music, like hip hop. I mean, bebop and rocksteady are musical genres, and it's why I love Ninja Turtle stuff. It just encompasses like a lot of New York subcultures, and it's real cool to go on that ride.
Well, while we're talking Turtles, then I'm kind of going to take it back to sort of films or animation. I love the mid-noughties TMNT cartoon movie.
Okay.
I thought it was dark when it needed to be dark, and it had a bit of light in there.
Is that the 2007 one?
Yes.
Yeah, no, fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, I like that actually. I think
the fight between Raph and Leo on the rooftops when it's raining. It was just
peak.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, when I was like really young, like they had what was it?
Long time ago.
Live action version. They did like
Yeah.
Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
And then like they did like the animated version. They look like proper like serious like badass turtles. Like, but not like they didn't look like real turtles. They look like how you'd imagine the progression from the live action characters were.
Yes. Yeah, humanoid turtles, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've rewatched the live action ones recently because they're all on Amazon. So if anybody wants to go watch them, they're all on Amazon, like free ads kind of thing. It's just crazy to go back and watch them now. There's still a lot of cheesy fun, so definitely recommend. Kevin Nash turns up in the second one as Shredder.
Yes.
There he is.
Yeah.
That's that wrestling connection for if you're still gasping for something wrestling related. Kevin Nash.
I think Turtles had a lot of like wrestling crossover.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Especially
Raph was always watching wrestling, wasn't he? He loved it. Either that or like cage fighting. It was.
Yeah.
When you look at the actors in themselves, though, like what Sheamus has been in there.
Yeah.
Like you said, Nash. Doesn't John Cena have a role in the most recent one as well? Yeah.
I think he's Bebop or Rocksteady. I'm sure he's one of them. I think he might be Sheamus's replacement.
Yeah, I think you're right. I haven't got around to watching that yet, which is pretty criminal. But I think okay.
Oh, okay. All right.
I've seen that's just been added to. I think it's Paramount or something. So that's on the to-do list.
Right, I kind of withdraw that because I watched it and I was a bit like, and I thought, right, I'll watch it again because it's Turtles. I want to give it a second chance, and I enjoyed it the second time more than the first.
Yeah.
But I probably like you did with Batman, Superman. I think the second time you watch it, you kind of go in with lower expectations.
Yeah, and
so
it's easier to see the good in it then, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
I think you find that a lot with every like superhero film though. Like, it's always better the second time you watch it.
Yeah, because like I say, I think you sat there first time and you just kind of like, picking at stuff. And the second time you kind of be like, right, okay, I'm just going to watch it for the sake of watching. I'm going to enjoy it. And you know what? Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
They do really cool animated movies. Like there's a crossover if you've seen Turtles and Batman.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Like that's all I want. That media to be is just a cool team with a cool dude. And just
it seemed like there was a point in time where that's all that like DC was bringing out, and not just DC, like just across all producers. They were just like making these crossovers. I guess they were just doubling their bets, right, to bring in fans of both. Like it seemed it was. I think that might have even possibly been the first one, like Batman and Ninja Turtles. Because I had those comics and they were pretty great. And then like shortly after that, DC released like a Masters of the Universe and a Battle Cats one, which was pretty cool too. But there was definitely that time period where all it seemed to get was just crossovers. It was bang, 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 and there's some of them are a lot better than others. But yeah, that Batman Ninja Turtles one it didn't disappoint. It's sick. Well good.
I've got a Batman Spider-Man crossover trade somewhere where it's those two going up against Joker and Carnage, which is worth checking out if you've never seen it.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I've definitely heard about that. I've not seen it.
Mark Bagley doing the artwork. It's just a fun little thing. But like I say, I think Batman teamed up with everybody at some point. I've got a Batman and Spawn crossover trade somewhere as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
He's a character that I don't think gets as much love as he should do.
Spawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for real. Not enough love for myself as well, to be honest. I've read criminally little. Nowadays, it's just finding the time. There's loads of stuff that I want to read, but yeah, sadly, haven't the luxury of the time to do it.
That's it. I mean, yeah, obviously Spawn from Image Comics. Again, I'm of that age where I'm, the 90s, all the big names in Marvel or told Marvel to do one, went off, set up their own comic book company, and you had like Wildcats, Youngblood, Spawn, Savage Dragon. You had some awesome titles coming out of there. Most of them have kind of gone away now, except for Spawn and Savage Dragon. I think are the last two standing.
Well, Spawn was a early movie as well, like Blade, wasn't it? There was a 90s movie that.
Yeah.
For Jai White, yeah. And have you guys seen it? Please tell me you've witnessed the film.
I remember having some. I've not seen the film. I remember having toys of it though. I think I'd got them from like a car boot. I definitely didn't know what they were.
Thought it was Spider-Man or something.
I didn't even know like if it was comic related or something. I'd got them from a car boot, and then I think it was like years later that some Spawn media came up, and I was like, oh, I had that dude as a as a toy as a kid. I never knew that what it was for. But I've never seen the film.
So I think I had the same thing with was it Street Sharks?
Yeah, Street Sharks. Yeah.
I had the same thing. Like I got like a toy of a street shark, and then like years later, I was like, oh, well, this is the same thing that I had when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I think it was the same with Biker Mice from Mars.
Bikes from Mars. I was just going to say that too. And Transformers as well. I definitely had some Transformers before I knew what they were.
I think, I mean, it's like, again, I know that's a whole different, I think probably do episodes about just toys and merchandise, things like that. But yeah, the Spawn figures were boss because McFarlane toys kind of just leveled up. If you see anything out there, statue-wise, toy-wise, that looks absolutely awesome, detailed to fuck. It's going to be a McFarlane toy, I guarantee it.
Okay.
If you go to like your comic, if you go to Forbidden Planet or Another World or whatever your local shop is, just check out the toy line. And they do a load of horror ones as well. McFarlane Toys did like a horror series, so you can pick up some boss-looking Michael Myers or Freddy's and stuff.
Nice.
They come in like the big clear boxes with a really colourful backdrop.
Some of them you can get different size ones, but yeah. See them in different sizes.
I think they have like a front screen as well, right?
What does that do?
They have like a front page that you have to fold back, and then you can see the
Yeah. But yeah, that's McFarlane. There's also a Spawn cartoon out there, HBO cartoon that came out late 90s. That's worth checking out if you can find it anywhere. Very graphic, 18 plus, just absolute blood and gore in animation form before it was cool.
Right, sweet.
But you'll appreciate this, obviously, Batman fan. Greg Capullo's artwork on the new 52 for Batman. He used to do Spawn.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah.
That's where Greg Capullo. Well, he got to start on X-Force. Then he joined Image to work on Spawn, and then he went from Spawn to Batman.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've got some of the. I think I've got like maybe the original. It's not the original. It's one of the original series of the X-Force comics. I think I saw his name in there.
Yeah, he replaced Liefeld back in the day.
Yeah.
You don't talk about. The only good thing he did was create Deadpool. That's my logic. I'll say he created Deadpool. He basically just ripped off Deathstroke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's a logical jump to go from illustrating Spawn's to Batman's. Very organic. Yeah, very similar. Yeah.
It's the cape in it.
Yeah.
Well, it's same with like Moon Knight, isn't it? He's Marvel's Batman. You know, it's easily could have transferred from either of them.
Is he, or is Daredevil Marvel's Batman?
I don't know. You can make a case for either, right?
Yeah, visually, Moon Knight looks like Batman. That's yeah, you can't deny that. But I think character-wise, and just the work in the streets, beating up the thugs.
I mean, they usually like play off each other. Like someone will come up with an idea, and then the other one will like go, "Oh well, we've got this concept that we can then turn into the same sort of thing that we can go with." And I think like Daredevil was originally like their answer to Batman.
That's it. I mean, there's only so many powers they can do. I mean, you've got you've got Flash versus Quicksilver.
Yeah.
You've got, Aquaman versus Submariner.
Don't people draw comparisons? Like again, I read no Marvel, but I hear the comparison a lot of Batman and Iron Man, just because they're rich dudes that don't have any rich dudes that don't have any power but have a lot of tech. That's one I hear quite often.
Yeah, that is a comparison. Like I said, it's just neither of them have got any abilities. They've just got a shitload of cash.
Yeah, which is the greatest superpower in the world, isn't it? Yeah.
But yeah, so we got that. Well, we've mentioned Deadpool a couple of times. Have you guys seen the trailer? I know it's not MCU yet, so I think you guys might watch it.
So it's Deadpool and Wolverine, the crossover, right? Yeah, I think I saw something, but I haven't seen the trailer yet.
Yeah, I've seen lots of pictures of Wolverine, but I haven't seen it either.
Yeah.
I've heard that they're together, and that's got me hyped enough to like be excited to watch the film. I haven't watched the trailer because I put off watching like the trailer if I know that I'm gonna go and watch it. I don't feel like I want to watch the trailer.
For sure.
That's fair enough.
Especially
just hearing that they're both in it together is enough for me to be like, sign me up.
A trailer's job is to get you interested. If you're already interested, you don't need to watch the trailer.
Yeah.
And sometimes the trailer goes, here's the whole film in 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So obviously, characters that have become is everybody Deadpool? Majority of people I know love the character. I've got a feeling this is going to split. At least one or two of you Deadpool fans.
I love Deadpool.
Yeah, man, I've fought with Deadpool for sure.
Casually, like I'm not opposed to him. You know what I mean? I'm not opposed to it. But I've never picked up a book. I've just like casually seen the films, so I don't include me in a deep dive.
I think I have probably 90% of the graphic novels of Deadpool's that they brought out.
That's a lot.
Yeah. I've got a lot. I've got full.
You must have a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I have like a full like wardrobe of like one
just
rack
Deadpool.
is just Deadpool graphic novels.
Right, fair enough.
And like the Merc with Money ones are really good as well. What are they called? Mercs. Oh, it's not the X-Force. It's the other one. He had another group, but I can't remember what it's called.
It's not Heroes for Hire, is it?
No. You guys talk, I'll find it.
Right, well, I'm going to switch over then to Batman.
There you go.
You two guys are Batman fans. I want to get your take on this. Longest, The Long Halloween or The Dark Knight Returns, which is the ultimate Batman story, or is there a better one?
Long Halloween.
Yeah.
Long Halloween for sure. Yeah. I hate when someone asks me like what my favorite comic is because I feel so like generic saying that. But it is that, and it's that for a reason. It's so cool. It's something that like I feel you could show to like a non-comic book fan, and to try and persuade them that some are actually quite cool. You know, this is cool. This is it's sexy. It's good. You know, like objectively so. I never get to. I read this is a bit. It's a bit lame, but I read it every Halloween, or I start reading it every Halloween. Yeah, that's my favourite arc for sure.
Joe, do you agree?
Yeah, it's definitely up there. Obviously, as a Jason Todd, the Death in the Family one is class, and again, it's really generic because most people a Killing Joke for me, like nothing has ever been as depraved as a thing that I've ever seen a villain do than that whole. But yeah, Long Halloween's class.
Right, Mr. Barker, what is it called? Do we know?
It's the Mercs for Money. It's the one with slapstick in there.
Didn't you say that?
Yeah, I did.
You got close.
I double guessed as well. But Batman, probably Hush.
Nice.
Hush is a good shout.
Fantastic.
I mean, I believe that's the same writer, right?
Yeah, Loeb. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Loeb. Yeah. That's real good.
Such an underrated character as well, right?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. You could easily make like, and this is something that's quite annoying when they do the films and stuff. They keep going back to the same characters, and like you could easily make a Hush film. Yeah, that would be cool.
He's got everything. He's got the connection. He's got the history. You've got that sort of. He's tangled with the Wayne legacy. It just makes perfect sense. Have you seen the animated movies?
Yes. They're real fun actually, because obviously they have fun with them and like they switch it up completely. Like it's a different payoff in the end. But I feel like they do them quite well. If anything, I watch them more than like any films that come out.
I think the DC animated are the most faithful adaptations you'll get of comic, live action animated. DC's animated stuff is awesome.
Yeah, it's real good.
For sure.
Flashpoint, I think it's one of my favourite animated ones.
Right.
If you haven't watched it, highly recommend Flashpoint. Just because you get to see Thomas Wayne as Batman as well.
Oh.
Is that come out quite recently?
That was a live action. No, the animated one came out about 10 years ago. They did a live action one with Ezra Miller, which just.
Yeah, that's right. That's no good. So you don't mean that one?
I don't know, man. Again, I'm not a big fan of Miller, but I love Keaton. So I was really torn with that film. So any given day, I'd be like, don't watch it because Miller's an arse. But any other given day, I'd be like, watch it because Keaton's back as Batman. How can you not watch it?
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah.
But in the comic book, Thomas Wayne becomes Batman.
Yeah, is it the New 52 with the button? Are we thinking of the same one?
No, Flashpoint was just like an old Flash story. I think it was before 52 came out, and he just went back and changed time. Stopped his mum from being killed.
Yeah, and he
history, and it was Bruce that got killed in the alleyway, and
yeah.
Martha was the Joker as well.
Yes, so there's a very similar one within the New 52. It must be a remake because that plot is like pretty much identical. Yeah, it's an alternate universe. Yeah, it's real good too.
it's just different. I like you'd like sort of said it's the multiverse. You know, I love the what if storylines. You know, like what if this happened? It just puts a new spin on stuff that you already know.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Deadpool. Deadpool 3 is coming out. So Long Halloween is worth watching on animated. That's what we talked about. Hush. Sorry, I got sidetracked.
Yeah.
Right, I've already read the first Hush book, so when I watched the animated one and then Riddler turned up at the end, I was confused as hell. That made no sense.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I'm guessing that was like Hush 2. There was a second Hush book that I'm just totally unaware of.
I don't think there was. I think they just the animated film was just a remix. They just switched it up. I feel like they knew that people, that the audience, the ones that were going to watch it, were people that had read the original source material, and just to work us, they made a little switch at the end, which I wasn't too mad about. To be fair, I thought it did get me. I was there for it. But as far as I know, it's not based on anything.
No.
Oh, that's cool. I thought I'd missed something. I was like, this comic book come out and it totally slipped me by, and I was like, what the hell? I don't know, man. It confused me. I just liked the original one that much. I just didn't need to. It kind of undersold Hush for me. Kind of did Tom.
I get that.
Yeah, I can get that. I don't know what it was about it, but it didn't make me too mad. I guess
That's cool. That's like I say, I probably just like I say, it's just again, I've read Hush loads. Dark Knight Returns, Long Halloween, Hush are like my top 3 Batman books. Hush for the artwork alone just gets me.
Right.
Yeah.
Jim Lee, absolutely just again, Ellis, I think you'll remember Jim Lee 90s X-Men.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So Jim Lee's always got a soft spot for me. He's the guy that made me start drawing. So I was like, yeah, cool. Hush's boss, X-Men. We've mentioned the Spawn film from the 90s. The X-Men films. Jack, I apologize. Obviously, I know you're a DC guy, but you've watched the X-Men films, right?
Yeah.
Do you enjoy him?
Yeah, for sure.
No.
For sure, yeah.
So I think last time we spoke, I said that I was going to go back and watch them.
Yeah.
And I did.
And
I massively enjoyed every single one of them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I don't think I did the first time that I watched them, though. I think
So,
I liked the first one.
Did you watch Did you watch 3, or did you then go on to the Fassbender, McAvoy ones, or did you just stick to the trilogy?
I just stuck to the trilogy.
The thing is, they came out so long ago that when you watched them the first time, you didn't really appreciate them so much. No, you probably didn't, because that was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, even more than that.
It was longer than that, yeah.
Yeah, way longer than that. I remember getting the toys in Burger King meals, like Burger King Happy Meal equivalents as a kid. So yeah, it's way longer than that. Obviously,
talking like early 2000s, I think, for the first at least.
Yeah.
When Joe was born.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was 2000 for the first X-Men film. Late 99, 2000, I think.
No.
So X3, Ellis, you enjoyed X3 this time around, yeah?
Yeah, I liked it this time.
Even with Vinnie Jones as a juggernaut.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm juggernaut, bitch.
Yeah.
So obviously, like, time has progressed and we have better CG now. So I think Juggernaut from Deadpool 2 is a lot better than Vinnie Jones playing Juggernaut in X3. But yeah, like you still get the idea of the character from it. So I wasn't that upset about it.
I'm just poking. To be fair, you know, for everything good, everything bad, there's a couple of things good. You know, for Vinnie Jones as Juggernaut, you got Frazier as the Beast. That's just perfect. Yeah, don't get better than that. You get to see Bobby Drake fully ice up. It's just you actually get to see Iceman. That's awesome.
The Nightcrawler stuff's really cool as well. What they do with him. Big fan.
I sent you the start of it when he's just poofing around the White House. And you just like the action sequence at the start of X2 when he's just
So
trying
cool.
to. Yeah, I think X2 is still my favorite X-Men film. X2 or Days of Future Past.
That's where it gets time travel-y, isn't it? Days of Future Past. I do remember especially liking that one.
Kids had the best of both worlds. Obviously, for the new fans, you had McAvoy and Fassbender. For the old school guys, you know, Stewart and McCallum were in there as well. Love for the X-Men.
For sure. Were any of you guys unlucky enough to watch X-Men Origins Wolverine?
I love that film.
Do you actually? Oh, mate.
Is it the one in Japan?
No, that's the Wolverine. Yeah, before that one.
Right.
It was like a
no.
They tried to do Gambit, and Gambit's so cool, but it's
not there. It's not good.
No, it's not good.
It's so bad. It's just an easy watch. You know what I mean? I can just put it on and smile, and it's just I embrace the terribleness of it all. You know, it's the appearance of Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. You know, as shit as it was.
Yeah, and then they completely
that was
with him.
It was the worst. He didn't have the. He didn't look anything like what Deadpool looks like without the suit.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this?
I remember because they mentioned Deadpool like quite early on, like that's his plan, right? And I remember being super excited, ready for him to come out, and then that came out, and I was just like, "What
is this?"
Bandy, do you know what that looks like?
Yeah. It's like I can see it in my head, like quite clearly. So like a big warehouse door opens, and it's this bald little man.
Bald dude.
I watched it in the cinema, hanging out of him and stuff.
You went to cinema.
I watched it in the cinema, and when they revealed it, I audibly said, "Who's that? Who is that?" And then they're like, "Oh, that's Deadpool." I'm like, "No, it ain't. Who's that? Who is that? Who's that supposed to be?"
Oh, you had Leif Schreiber as Sabretooth.
I didn't mind that.
Yeah.
Schreiber as Sabretooth, the future Ray Donovan, or Mr. Cotton from, the Scream films. He was awesome in it. And, yeah, it's that bad that I like. Some people just like shitty films because they make them smile. That's my shitty film. That makes me smile. And the Fantastic Four films.
Ooh.
The originals. With
Jessica Alba.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
the
rough.
Fantastic Four films were
something.
The worst case scenario is, dude, you get to look at Jessica Alba. I'm like, you know what? That's fine.
They existed. They weren't great.
Yeah.
Again, Sunday afternoon, put your feet up. If you fall asleep, you fall asleep. If you don't, you don't. It's that kind
of that's fair.
So, talking of film, right, Sin City. Do you guys ever dipped your toe in? Read any Sin City stuff?
Watch the films.
I haven't touched
I'm the same. I've watched the films. I've not really delved into the books, to be honest with you. I like the films, though. They were right.
Yeah, the films are sick.
Yeah.
I keep meaning to watch them and just not getting around to it.
First one, definitely. Second one's all right. It's worth a watch. But yeah, the first one for me is I think it's in my top 5 films. Just it's up there with like Scott Pilgrim, just for being just a visual.
Yeah, just the first one is the one with the yellow dude.
Yeah.
That just because it's predominantly black and white, right?
Yeah, and he's yellow. There's so much blood.
Yeah.
But his blood's yellow, isn't it? If I remember correctly. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's very vivid in it. You can see it.
Yeah, I see it for sure.
And then you've got it's that's the Bruce Willis story. He plays Hartigan, like
Yes,
rescues a young Nancy. Then
that's it, Nancy.
that's it.
Invades that mansion, if I'm correct, right? So is she a dancer or something?
Yeah, it's Jessica Alba again.
Which is-
Jessica Alba at the club. But you got Marv. You know, the story is he's just the prostitute gets killed and Marv just goes on an absolute destruction to avenge her.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I maybe I should rewatch it and then also get into the books. But again, it's just an issue of time.
Yeah. I get that. But if the connection, if it makes it a little bit cooler, obviously, Dark Knight Returns, Frank Miller. Obviously, it's Frank Miller's baby. He wrote and drew them all.
Oh, okay.
So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and you got that Batman connection then kind of thing, So sort of very dark, very gritty. Highly recommend it.
Right.
So again, it's about having time to read. You mentioned you're reading the Turtles at the minute. What's on your to read list? Have you got any books put to one side that you want to check out, or you're itching to have a look at?
Yeah, what was the new Batman one? Killing Time. I don't know if you're familiar with it. I think I need to pick that up. It's been something on my to get list for a while. I think there's a heist. It seemed really appealing. It seemed like a bunch of Batman villains get together to rob something. And yeah, Killing Time, that's on my list. I think that there's another one. Like I have all this saved on my phone for when I next find myself. I don't know where everyone shops. I shop at OK Comics. But when I'm next in town, I dip in there. I can't recall the name of it. It's one where Joker's taken into questioning and you hear his story about a murder that's taken place, and he's not a reliable narrator. Some things aren't right.
Yes, yeah, I know.
Right, so that's on my to pick up list. I can't remember what it's called, but that and Killing Time. That's what I need to get into.
Joe, you got anything you're itching to read?
I think I want to read more Turtles, because obviously I just watched the only Turtles I've read, because you can't watch it anywhere, is The Last Ronin, because they're incredible series. So I think I'd just like to read a bit more Turtles, because I mainly just read Spider-Man and Batman, so there's not much, I'd quite like to not be in a Marvel or DC for a bit, and the Turtles are just always, I just love the Turtles, man. So cool.
Support the indies for a while.
Yeah.
Ellis, anything you're itching to read?
I have, but haven't had chance to read Deadpool, Black, White, and Blood yet, which I have on a pile of things that I'm going to read, and that's currently at the top.
Nice. So we've got to pick. We're talking shitty films. We talked about Daredevil earlier. Ben Affleck's Daredevil. Just yes or no?
Absolutely not.
Well, the series.
No, because not after the series. The series is so good, and the film is so shit.
Oh.
Fleck, before he was Batman, was Daredevil.
Oh wait, the Daredevil, the original Daredevil film.
Yeah.
Oh, it was terrible. The Ben Affleck one.
Yeah.
Oh man, where he goes in the belt. Yeah, that's bad. That and the Green Lantern.
Oh, the
terrible.
The Reynolds Green Lantern.
Yeah, terrible. Terrible work.
Terrible work.
Awful.
Talking about comics, we made a Green Lantern reference, and then we just start talking about hitting him with a banana because it's yellow. It's just like
it's yellow and wood, right?
Yeah,
yellow. Like a HB pencil is his worst nightmare.
I've not seen the Green Lantern film. I can't comment, but I know it because don't they make a dig at that in the end credits of the Deadpool film? He goes back and shoots himself before he can sign the contract.
Yeah,
they take multiple shots at it. It's like, as long as the suit's not green or animated.
Right.
It's atrocious. That's the thing. As comic book fans, we've paid our dues by watching a shed load of awful films, but thankfully now there seems to be a lot more good stuff out there, whether it be animated films, TV series, as you mentioned. The Daredevil Netflix series is just next level.
Although I was saying,
really like the Titans series as well. I think that's really good.
I think I only watched season 1 of that. That where the
season 2's got Deathstroke in it. That's really good.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
And season 3 has Ra's al Ghul.
Oh, cool.
Series 3 is Scarecrow. I remember correctly.
Oh, is it 4?
Four's Lex March turns up in. Oh, he turns up somewhere. I need to be watching. But yeah, series 3 is definitely Scarecrow and Jason Todd are the main 2 bad guys.
I didn't even know there were 4 seasons.
It must be the start of 4, and then they carry on with the whole cult thing.
Yeah, you mentioned Arrow earlier. I love that, man. That was that TV show, because I knew almost nothing about Green Arrow as a character, and I know he's very different adaptation. He's a lot more like a Batman in that adaptation of dark and serious. Because then when you actually look at Oliver Queen in the comics, he's nothing like that at all. Yeah. But I love the Arrow series.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think it's a good gateway for people. Like you sort of said, it's great if you get into comic books after watching, stuff like that. I love that kind of sort of stuff because it is, it's a little of a teaser. Look at all this cool stuff. Mm-hmm. If you like, go check this shit out. This is 10 times better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I think Arrow it suffered from its own success. It ran for too long.
For sure.
Flash was good first few series. But yeah, they kind of just kept it going for way too long, and it just became stupid in the end. I think about 20 people knew Oliver's secret identity by the end.
Well, Cody Rhodes was in it though, wasn't he? So
yes, it's Chris Amell was in WrestleMania, wasn't he?
Yeah, and then he wrestled, didn't he, Stephen Amell?
Yeah. WrestleMania. I can't remember what WrestleMania it was, but yeah, it was him and. Was it Pac against Stardust and somebody?
Yeah, I think so. Because he's a huge wrestling fan.
Yeah, I feel like they screened him on one of the early AEW shows as well, right? He was.
Yeah, he was on one of the very first. When they did I can't remember the name of it. Before it was even AEW, right?
The All In show.
Yeah, he was on that.
Yeah, probably.
Well, he went off. He did a TV. I don't think it's ever been out over here, but in America, they did a TV series called Heels.
Oh yeah, I watched season 1 on. It was on a VPN, so I don't think it is over here. But but it was good. I enjoyed it.
That's got Punk in it, right?
Yeah. Not the first season. It's got the dude from Vikings.
Bjorn.
Yes.
Bjorn. But yeah, Arrow, Flash, man, TV shows are coming. Punisher TV series, John Bernthal. Arrow,
that's real good.
Very good, very good.
Because there's obviously talk of him. Do you guys want to see him come back? And be Disneyed, or should you just leave them where they are?
I'll be honest. I was saying this to my missus the other day. I used to be waiting for the next Marvel film to come out. Couldn't wait. And now I think this entire new, series generation of whatever films they are, I just haven't been asked. And they're Disneyfying everyone out there, because I saw what they did to Daredevil in...
She-Hulk.
Yeah, it frustrates me, man. It's like you have it on a platter, isn't it? And then...
Yeah, I think there's enough there's enough films out there already that, like, if you want to know anything about any characters, stick to the older ones because they're just gonna ruin them.
Yeah. Again, talk about other sources. I'll start wrapping it up for you, let you guys go. But I didn't want to let you go without mentioning the Arkham Knight games, given that everybody loves Batman so much. We've talked about cartoons, we've talked about comic books, we've talked about films. We haven't really mentioned the video games aspect of comic books. Does it get any better than Arkham games or the Spider-Man games?
I've not played the Spider-Man ones, but the Arkham ones are obviously incredible. So good. Yeah. So good.
And the pinnacle for, like, not just superhero games, but like every other game since has done that style of combat, at least sort of different, with the punch, and then you press counter. Every other game's done that, and they took the character, didn't they, and they went, "Oh, we'll make a game for the character," instead of every other superhero game when they went, "Oh, it's a movie adaptation or whatever." So they're the pinnacle for me, the Arkham games. The new Spider-Man games are sick, but
I don't think
they would have Arkham's.
I think Arkham City is the best Arkham game. I can't think of a better video game adaptation of a comic book series or character, but I do like the crossovers, like they did Marvel versus Capcom and
the fighter game, yeah,
like Mortal Kombat and DC. That is probably my favorite.
Well, they did. What was it called now? Injustice. It's like a Mortal Kombat, but DC characters.
I remember that.
That was sick. They've done a second one. Second one came out a couple of years ago. Kind of the roster kind of thing.
There it is. Look,
that one. That's
Xbox
the one.
360. Look at you go.
Look at that.
Yeah, I clearly remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I say that anybody played Gotham Knights, just to quickly bring you back to reality, and like they do mess it up occasionally. I tried playing Gotham Knights. I had to turn it off after an hour. And they've just totally annihilated the format of the game.
Oh right, I figured that would have been the case.
That Suicide Squad game.
Yes, same with Suicide Squad game.
Gone.
I haven't even got the console to play it on. Like I didn't. I've no reason. There's not been a game that's come out on a new platform that's made me that I've wanted to play so much that has made me go out and buy a new. I'm not really a gamer at all. I'm not going to pretend I am. But if something came out that I really wanted to play, I'd go out and buy whatever the newest console is. But there hasn't been anything. There's been no interest. I struggle to play games nowadays. To be honest with you, I get too fidgety.
Yeah. Gotham Knights should have been awesome. It was the whole Batman family, man. You had potentially you could control Nightwing, Robin, Batgirl, and Jason Todd. They kind of just messed it up, unfortunately. So if you're ever tempted, don't.
Yeah.
I've not heard good things. And they did the same thing with the Arkham Knight DLCs, didn't they? There was a Red Hood one and a Nightwing.
Yeah, they were really good actually.
So you got it up there.
They were all right.
Yeah, I enjoyed them.
Gentlemen, I've just clocked we've hit the hour mark. I've kept you longer than I expected, so I do apologise. But yeah, thank you. I mean, hopefully you guys enjoyed yourself, just chatting comics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, good time.
Yeah. Also, I didn't want to keep you too long, guys, so I just thought of I'll grab you for an hour. Thank you. I just want to say thanks for talking comic books with me. I've finally got to do this episode. Thank you to Ellis for talking you guys into it as well.
Thanks.
Thanks for the house.
You're welcome.
Yeah, cheers, Paul.
Yeah. No.
You guys want to plug your socials where people can buy your merch and show you some love?
I don't even have any merch. I'm terrible. But yeah, you follow me on the only real socials I use at the minute is Instagram. Jack Bandicoot 94.
Sweet, Mr. Wade.
Yeah, on Instagram and Twitter, it's just at Joe Wade, but with an X instead of an A.
Yeah, probably Instagram's probably best. Ellis Barker _PW.
Sweet. Well, Jack, if you ever want any a free design doing, hit up Fast Count. I can talk them into doing your design for free if you ever want one.
Oh, appreciate it.
Just you, Jack.
Maybe.
Just you, not Jake. Nobody wants Jake.
Yeah. Screw that guy.
Dude, just to talk wrestling for a second, mate. That I just felt Shreddy said that at True Grit at the week. I was just like, it's too far. Shreddy should have said that to Jake. I was just
What did he say?
It was like, I don't want the Marty Jannetty. I want the
I want the one that's been on Progress.
Yeah.
What people care about. It was like,
Oh, poor Jake.
poor Shreddy. Right, guys. Honestly, thank you. I'm going to say goodbye. Hit like, hit subscribe, share, comment, do the generic stuff you always do after watching a video on YouTube. Guys, don't go anywhere. But thank you for watching, and we will see you again very soon.